Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Busy Women Weight Loss. You're a busy babe, you're trying to feel your best, look your best, increase energy, reduce body fat, maybe you want to lose a few pounds. You have found the right channel and you are in the right place. So today we are talking about hacks to increase your protein so that weight loss becomes easier. As you know, the key to staying fuller for longer while you're in a caloric deficit so that you can stay consistent, reduce that body fat, is to increase your protein. But a big question that I get basically weekly is, how do I do that? Hey, Jackie, I signed up for MyFitnessPal and it's telling me to start a 1,200 calorie diet, which I did, but I'm completely starving. Yes, I hear this all the time. And the reason why you're starving is that your macronutrient distribution is off. So you're not managing the protein, carbs, and fats in your diet appropriately, or you're not eating the right amount of protein, maybe eating the right amount of fats, even carbohydrates. Carbohydrates do play a role in weight management. We do need them for energy. If you're hitting the gym and you're noticing that you're tired, you don't have enough energy to get through the weights or to lift heavier, it could be that you're just not eating enough carbohydrates as well. And remember that fiber is a critical piece of our weight loss journey. So if we're not eating enough fiber at the same time, then that is going to create a more difficult circumstance in your calorie deficit endeavor, because fiber helps to keep us full as well. So what fiber does, without getting too much into it, because today is about protein, is that it adds volume to our food. So if you've heard that saying, eat more, weigh less, it's that you're eating more higher volume, higher fibrous foods, which allow you to eat more food as a whole, but with lower calories, okay? But before we get kind of down that rabbit hole, fiber will be a different video altogether, because we can talk about fiber until the cows come home. Today, we're really gonna focus on these protein hacks. So my number one hack, and I don't like to include a lot of fluff in my videos, so I kind of just like to get right into it, but the number one hack that I have for you to increase your protein intake is start with the protein that's already on your plate. So a lot of times I think people are getting so caught up in like elaborate recipes and supplements and what bar is the best. And those are all great questions, and that's valid to have those questions and concerns, but let's keep it simple. If you really just focus with the protein that you're already eating and then increase the volume or the portion of that protein, you're gonna be so much more likely to hit your protein goals in a lot easier way without getting like so crazy about different recipes and, different food items and who likes eggs and who doesn't like eggs and who can't have dairy and who can have dairy. Just start with what you're already eating, right? If you're already eating chicken, rather than having 2 or 3 like useless ounces, have 4, 5, or 6 more productive ounces, right? So you're already having more bang for your buck just by increasing your portion. It's really that simple. So let's break down some examples. Let's say you are someone who does like eggs at breakfast. And right now, this is like a really common one that I hear is, hey, Sarah, tell me, what are you having for breakfast these days? Well, I'm having 1 egg, a slice of toast, and a half a cup of berries. That sounds wonderful, right? That sounds so perfect. Low calorie, easy to stay in your calorie deficit by having this 200 calorie breakfast. No, wrong. You're doing it wrong. You need more protein in that breakfast. That breakfast maybe has 10 grams of protein, maybe, right? If the toast has like 2 or 3 grams of protein and your 1 egg has 6, we do know that, then you're not really breaking the bank here. What I really want you to do is get as close to that 20 gram mark of protein at breakfast as much as you can. So really what I want you to do here is add in another egg. That's an easy place to start. Right now, so just with that 2 egg, you've got 12 grams of protein. Let's say your slice of toast has 3. Now you're kind of getting into that 15 gram mark. So now you're kind of cooking with gas. You're getting a little bit closer. Now let's take it a step further. So you've done that for a couple of weeks. You're feeling pretty good about, your breakfast, but now we need to enhance that a little bit. So maybe you add a third egg. If you're kind of like, I think that's too many eggs, fine. Let's go into egg whites. A half a cup of egg whites will give you around 12 grams of protein. Boom, right? So you could do one egg plus the half a cup of egg whites. Now you're really, really getting to that 20 gram mark, right? You could also dabble in some higher protein breads. So some higher protein breads would be like an Ezekiel bread. You could also do a Royo bread, and I'll link that in the comments. I love Royo breads. They're considered a like low carb bread, mainly because they're so high in fiber. So I'm a big fan of the everything bagels. They're really good. They're light, so they're not going to be as dense naturally as a traditional bagel. But you'll get your fix. So a bagel is like 80 calories. It's got like a ton of fiber and around 10 grams of protein. So those are what I call like stealth foods that can kind of facilitate that protein mark as well, right? So now let's dive into lunch and snacks. Now lunch can be one of those like pain in the butt meals for you, or it could be an easy meal for you. It depends, I think, a lot on your work situation. So I have lots of busy babes that are my clients who have like a hybrid work style now. That was one of the big benefits that we got from the pandemic. And for sure, it certainly helped me have a virtual practice. So that's the only thank you I have for that situation. But anyway, so a lot of times we're dealing with ladies that are going into the city, getting up very early. There's like a little bit of like a hustle and bustle, like, oh, I don't have time to make my lunch. Well, we've got a solution for that when you work with me, and we'll talk more about that in other videos. But the question is like, how do you maximize protein at lunch? Okay, so if you're working from home and you have the luxury of preparing a lunch, then you have some time to kind of think about it. But you also have to really put a plan in place so that you can plan to have that 25, 30 grams of protein at lunch. And I'm telling you, it is as easy as making a sandwich. Like, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like maybe once or twice a week, like I'm a big like hot food girl, but once or twice a week, I will have a basic turkey sandwich for lunch, or just a tuna sandwich for lunch with like a side salad or a leftover veggie from the night before. Now I can bank 30, 35, sometimes 40 grams of protein in that meal, depending on what I'm having, like without even thinking about it. So how do you do that? For one, you have to really think about quantifying the protein that you're having in that meal. So if you're having like 2 or 3 slices of turkey, because that seems like visually what is appropriate, you're missing the ballpark here. You're really missing a huge opportunity to get as much protein on your plate as you possibly can to prevent those cravings at 3 o'clock, to prevent that crash at 3 o'clock, so that you're feeling more full and satisfied, so that when snack time does come around, you're not like falling apart at the seams. You're like having a controlled sense of hunger, or feeling like, I really need a little pick-me-up. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'm kind of getting hungry. Let me have a snack. Rather than approaching that snack time like, like a rabid bunny or cat, if that's even a thing. But like, you know what I mean? Being totally out of control because you didn't eat enough at lunch and now you're super hungry and out of control. So at lunchtime, I really want you to focus, for my ladies, in the neighborhood of like 4 to 6 ounces. Oh, well, what does that look like? Weigh it. You can weigh it to teach yourself what that portion looks like for you. If you want to use your hands as kind of like a guide, especially if you're eating out, your hand is in the neighborhood of like 3 ounces. So it's really not a lot. 3 ounces is really not a lot of chicken or fish or whatever it is. So I say go for 2 hands, okay? And now you may be like, holy cow, isn't that gonna be like way too much food? No, it's not way too much food. You really need this amount of protein to sustain fat loss, because if you're not able to stay in your slight caloric deficit because you're starving, then it defeats the whole purpose. You really do need to bump up your protein. Don't forget that protein also does give you a little bit of a metabolic boost, so it does help to encourage our metabolism to burn a little bit more energy from processing that protein, okay? Now, let's dive into hacking our snacks. I like to think about our snacks as snack protein boosters. And the reason why I like to call them that is because you don't have to get so overwhelmed with like thinking about jamming all this protein into your snack. Remember, it's a snack, not a meal. So I like to keep snacks in the neighborhood of like 150, 200, maybe like 220 calories. It really is going to depend on your personal calorie budget, how much you plan on eating for the rest of the day. Everybody's going to be different, so I don't want to pigeonhole you into like that's what it should be, but that is what I would say, or what I would consider a good baseline or a good guideline. Okay, so what do we think about when we're thinking about these snack protein boosters? So I'll give you a couple examples and really show you or illustrate how this can really improve the protein quality of your entire day. So let's say we did just a basic ham and cheese roll up. Super basic. Could be turkey if you're not into ham. Could be, chicken as well. So 1 ounce of ham, which is probably like maybe 2 thin slices. If it's a thicker slice, maybe 1 slice, is around 5 grams of protein. Now you add a thin slice of cheese, you roll that up, boom, you've got 10 grams of protein right there. Now, let's say you add in some raw veggies with that, or maybe you want to throw it on whatever, a couple of crackers, half an apple. You have an amazing snack right there. My next one is chia seeds. Now, chia seeds that's kind of like a wonder food. So chia seeds are a great source of protein. They are a great source of fiber, and they have some healthy fats. So they really pack a punch in all areas. So 2 tablespoons of chia seeds are right around 6 grams of protein. And you can add that into a yogurt. You can add that into a protein smoothie. You can add, now you're really cooking with gas if you add that into a protein smoothie, or you could add it into your oats. You could make what's known as a chia seed pudding. So when you put chia seeds in a liquid, they will absorb all that liquid and it will get gelatinous or turn into kind of like a pudding. So you can do that as well. Then my other favorite one for snack time, and I also like adding it to meals, is edamame. So if you love going out for sushi or you're into like Asian cuisine, you may be ordering edamame as an appetizer, which makes an awesome appetizer, but don't forget, it makes an awesome snack too. So just 2/3 cup of edamame is going to give you right around 6 grams of protein as well. So you see how these little boosters, just these little tweaks, are really going to catapult you into getting a lot more protein than you're currently eating, right? So you could have these as snacks, but you could also add them to meals as well. And then my last one, which I eat a lot of eggs for breakfast, so I don't always have eggs for snacks, but I do actually enjoy a hard-boiled egg, or I like soft-boiled eggs with like a cracker, or like I really like them with just like a little bit of mayo, a little bit of salt and pepper. They're so good. But 1 hard-boiled egg is 6 grams of protein. It's only 70 calories. So let's say you had that with a couple of raw veggies, or I like to have mine with just like a few crackers, whole grain crackers. You have like an amazing snack there. So those are some of my favorite protein snack boosters that you can pepper in, to the rest of your day. And they're so much more satisfying than diving into, a bag of chips. Now, is there a time and place for a bag of chips? 100%. You can have a bag of chips and still lose weight, but they're not going to fill you up and keep you satisfied the way that some of these snack boosters, these protein snack boosters will, all right? And so let's land this plane and really kind of like finish out our day. So with dinner, you are going to follow a similar model that you would to lunch, right? So a lot of times protein isn't always a big challenge or barrier at dinner time for people. I find that the beginning part of the day is really what is most challenging. So for dinner, just have a look at your plate, and if you are struggling with, knowing if you're getting enough protein or where protein is found, you can download my free guide. It's in the comments, totally free. It is a Crush Your Protein Goals for Fat Loss guide, where I show you how to eat around 130 grams of protein a day. I give you 3 basic meal plans to illustrate how you do this, and then I give you cheat sheets of protein foods so that you can piece your own meal plan together, because it's important to enjoy what you're eating. And of course, I couldn't possibly create a meal plan for every single person in this world, although if we work together, you will get something completely personalized, but that's a side story. So anyway, don't forget to download that free guide. So I hope that this gave you some really actionable tips to increase your protein. Let me know what questions you have. I love hearing from you guys. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and it helps me to really make sure that I'm giving you the best content and the best solutions around fat loss and weight loss to help you along your journey. I'll talk to you guys soon.